FlossTube Stitchers. My vintage stitch for today actually has a new story to go along with it. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic bag until I'm ready to hang it, and I'll explain why in a minute. So hopefully there won't be too much glare from the plastic. As you can see, I stitched this in 1996. It's called Spring Hair by You and I and Friends. And they called for 1 strand on 32 count before it was cool. I also loved their designs because they put a lot of specialty stitches in there. So the basket is all satin stitch and there's an eyelet down there, and I really liked that about their patterns. This is also a specialty button. I hate to say the name of the company because I may get it wrong, but they're no longer available. But the chart still is. I can get it from Ruth at Twisted Threads, but I probably won't do it until after the market calms down later in March maybe. So I might not have it for you to stitch it for this Easter if you don't already own it. But anyway, I used whatever the called for materials were, but I used to take classes from Barb and Cam when they did Liberty Gathering, which was a kind of patriotic Americana themed needle art and quilting extravaganza. And they put it on in the summer, and it went on for maybe 5 days or something, and you could take lots of classes. I know I've talked about it before, and I don't believe they do it any longer, but it was put on by a quilt shop and a needlework shop that were connected. And one of them maybe closed, and or somebody might have moved. I can't remember the story. Anyway, I had found this recently unframed, but it had the frame with it. And this was back in the day when I was still doing my own framing for things that didn't have mats or glass. So I had the custom frame. It had been ordered to size, but I didn't have any foam core cut for it. And I had to do that by hand with a T-square and a straight edge. I didn't have a mat cutter, so maybe I was waiting until I needed a few things to do. But anyway, I found the stitching with the frame, and when we moved to this location about 12 years ago, it had been packed up with a lot of other older things that I didn't think I needed to unpack right away. Well, years go by and you don't touch the bins and you don't remember what's in them. So I found it again when we were packing up to get the new carpet, and I thought, I really need to do this year. And I checked it over I didn't find my chart at home, but I looked it over really well. It looked like it had been pressed, and I thought that everything looked like it had been finished. There were no missing pieces, so I was positive that the stitching was done. And it was wrinkled on one end from how it had slid in the bag that it was in. So on Saturday, February 1st, before I came to work, I pressed it very carefully. It was still warm, so I left it on the towel. I put the frame on top. I was going to take it downstairs, put it back in the plastic bag, and bring it to work to give to my framer. I'm wearing the same tread heavy boots, not heavy boots, but they have a really good tread on them. I've been wearing them for like 3 months. Not unusual, not new, not high heels, something I'm used to. I wasn't in a hurry. I wasn't going to be late for work. I don't know what happened, but my heel just hit one of the steps wrong and I fell down the stairs. Now, I do still have a bruised foot after a couple weeks. I was not hurt except my pride and a few weird spots where my body hit the stairs. But here's what happened to the frame. It slid off of the stitching, hit the ceramic tile, bounced, hit the ceramic tile, bounced, hit the rug in front of the front door. I didn't think anything of the frame at first. I kind of yelled. Nobody came running. My dogs didn't care. My husband was in the laundry room and didn't hear me. And I was more worried about my foot because I knew then I had to get to work. When I picked up the frame, I was horrified to find several dings. In fact, later on, when I looked at it more carefully, there were even more than I had first recognized. You can't see them through the plastic. I brought it in, told my framer the story, and she goes, well, a frame can always be reordered. And I go, oh, I'm not reordering the frame. I paid for this all those years ago. The frame is probably no longer available, or it would be 3 times as expensive. I said, we're using this frame. And I said, I don't care. So if you can touch it up, don't go to a lot of trouble. Just see what you can do. She did such a beautiful job that from a distance, I don't think you'll be able to tell. When it's up on the wall, I think most of the dings were kind of on the side or the edge. I don't care. It now has a story, but I can now use it for my spring decor. And because the chart is still available, it can also be a new shop model. So it's vintage, but it has a new story and everything's good. Then I have a real, a more recent new shop model. My framer did Winter Reindeer by Dirty Annie's. By the way, if you Google them, because they're not with a distributor, so you have to go to their site direct to see what they have, don't forget to put Southern style, because if you just put in Dirty Annie's, no, don't look at whatever's there. So don't forget to put Southern style. Alrighty, and oh, I wanted you to take a look at her model. She had done this, she whitewashed or chalk painted, whatever, this little beaded trim that you can buy by the yard. And then she also painted the wood buttons. And Bonnie and I didn't talk about this, and I wished I had asked her more questions. I just oohed and awed over it and put it aside and knew that I was going to show it today. But it looks like she followed the same tutorial on Dirty Annie's website, because this was added. I looked on the frame wall. Nope, there's no frame that has this beaded edge. So she added that, and then she also whitewashed her wood buttons. So I thought this was really pretty, and I know I've just shown you a bunch of her, well, she's been stitching up a storm over the holidays and getting things done, and I didn't want to wait until winter was over. I figured I would show you another Bonnie piece while it was still the right season. So we do have it in stock, and like I said, the tutorial is on Annie's website, and she walks you through how to do that. Okay, then on to my stitching. Really, I'm very dedicated to my stitching during Freebie February. So I force myself to get more done than maybe I do other weeks of the year. So on Monday, I worked on Made with Love by the Little Stitcher, and it is on her blog on July 30th of 2024, and I will put all the links in the show notes. And then next week, because Freebie February will be over, I'll put the link for all 28 designs in that video as well. And what I got done, I believe I stitched on this for 2 nights, and that's what I got done. I decided I didn't need it to be small. I love bees. I have a lot of bee themed decor, and it didn't need to be little. It could be a little bigger. And I had this chunk of 25 count vintage country mocha, and I kept it. I ordered a new yard, and then I kept this little piece for myself, not knowing what I was going to do with it. And she does have several other bee designs, so I think I'll go ahead and do some of her other ones on the same fabric on the rest of it. So I didn't cut it because I wasn't sure how I was going to finish these and how much room I needed for the other designs, but I got pretty much done. And the overdyed color is the Gentle Art Pumpkin Pie, and the rest will be all solid DMC colors. I'm using her color palette. Then on Tuesday was my Aunt Jean's funeral, and we did not take my dad to Pennsylvania because we didn't think it was the right time of year. It was not enough notice, and we didn't think he could handle it. So one of his cousins did FaceTime with us, and my brother figured out how to get it to a laptop and then onto my dad's big screen TV. So there were 5 of us watching the funeral together. So that was the good part. And then we got to FaceTime with cousins. So that's the positive you can take after that day. But I don't know if you read my Facebook and Instagram post, but she had a Santa collection. And I remember one time she was widowed, and I think the hospital expanded and they tore down all the houses on her street. So she was kind of forced to move. So I was in the second house, and I was just really surprised, walked through the living room, dining room, into her kitchen, and it wasn't Christmas time, but she had Santas in her kitchen, was it a full size? No, it wasn't really a hutch. It was more like a cabinet with glass doors. And then I think she had some on top of her cabinets. It was a long time ago. I don't really remember, but I thought, well, good for her. She really enjoys her Santas, and she left them out all year. And I've heard of other people leaving out certain holidays that they like, maybe in a guest room or a family room or their stitching room. And so spur of the moment, I had not planned this, but spur of the moment, I decided to stitch a Santa. So, oops, I like it when it's black because I can get rid of the glare. So it's called Santa Cookie by Shannon Christine Designs. And it is on her Facebook page, not the fan group, but her page, on December 15th of 2023. So you may have to scroll down to find it. And as I've said before, when you're on somebody's Facebook page and you're looking for a photo, click photos. So it takes less time to scroll through them than it does if you're scrolling through each individual post. So I had a piece, I don't really remember what this is, but I'm fairly sure it's Valor because that was my favorite green from Picture This Plus. And I had a long skinny piece, and I think I might be able to get at least 1 or 2 other small ornaments out of it. So I pretty much just started with the white. It looks pretty good here. It is a little darker and a little prettier in person. It did not come out well for the Facebook post. It looked kind of washed out. I took the picture 3 times in 3 different locations under different lighting, and it didn't photograph well, especially since the stitching was just in white. But anyway, it's going to be really pretty when it's done. And that was 14 count. 14? Yes. Yes, because I'm stitching with 2 strands. Okay, then on Wednesday, I had to queue up all these pictures. So for some reason, I just could not get just the picture. Nope. That's not what I want. Okay, I had to cut that part out. I could not get it to blow up without it bringing up a screen that wanted me to add captions and stuff, and I couldn't figure out how to get rid of it on my phone. It looks different on the iPad. So it's called Spooky Halloween by Tiny Modernist. And this is how much I got done in one night. And I'm using the general color palette, but changing a few things because I don't believe it's ever shown fully stitched, and the orange and the yellow didn't look the same in person. And I think I changed the green. Yeah, I think I changed the green because the other one didn't look as good with the fabric. This is, let's see, not Dawn. What did I say this was? Now I can't remember if I identified it on Facebook because I had everything right in front of me then, but it's gray, but it has kind of a, there's like a dull greenish cast to the gray. So I kept the green lettering like she had it, but I think I just darkened it a little bit. So that'll be really quick, probably just one more night and I'll finish that. All right, then Thursday was National Love Your Pet Day. And again, for some reason, I could not get the picture to show from the website. So I took a screen. Well, this is just the part of the picture that I showed on Facebook. This is by Silver Creek Samplers, and it's on her website. So it kind of covered 2 bases because it was Love Your Pet Day, and I wanted to do a dog thing, and I didn't really have a lot of dog patterns in the wings to do. They tended to be like specific dog breeds, or some saying that I didn't like or whatever. So I thought, well, that covers two bases. It gave me a dog, and it also gave me a summer piece that wasn't patriotic. It's always my goal to add a little bit more summer. And most of my summer stuff, I guess, would be bees and strawberries. So my idea was to try to find something else summery that didn't fit those categories. And this is how much I got done. I'm doing one strand of the, is it all DMC? I think it's all DMC. And I did one strand on 32 count blue gray Belfast. And I got all that done in one night. So I thought that was fun. And this blue gray fabric is so pretty. It would be good for Easter. I don't know if white would show up for snowmen, but it would look good for Easter, spring, baby. I could even see some of those fall designs that have turquoise in them. That would look really pretty on that fabric. So that was fun. All right, then on Friday, for Friday's fave, because you know Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, I started Give Thanks by Erin Elizabeth Designs, and this, along with a few other really cute ones, are on her website. And I'm sticking with her color scheme because I thought it looked good. And I'm doing it on 32 count Sahara Dust, which is very, very close to, she didn't say what she stitched it on, but it looks kind of like wheat or light taupe, one of those Luganas. And Sahara Dust was a new color a year or two ago, and it's a really nice neutral. And I decided to start with the word thanks, but I was able to do part of the border at the bottom in the same evening, so that was fun. And I like that it's like a dark turquoisey blue. It's DMC 924. So I thought that was a kind of fun color to put in with all the warm fall tones. All right. Then Show and Tell Saturday was this piece by Julie Vanderheide from Michigan, who submitted her photo for our 2020 Christmas decorating slideshow. And this is Holy Night. I always want to say, oh, Holy Night. It's Holy Night by Plum Street Samplers. It's on her blog. Oh, shoot. I didn't write down on this sheet of paper where it is, but I'll put it in the show notes. I think if you Google it, it'll come up really quickly too. And I didn't recognize it at first because there are words provided by the designer. I think it says, "The soul felt its worth," just at the very bottom in big block lettering. And I think Julie just wanted it to be smaller, and so she did it as a little pillow and put it in a wreath. And I'm sure it's really much prettier in person. We're using two devices here to show it, so it's not the color's not showing up as nicely as it should. But anyway, someday I'm going to do that one too. It's really sweet. So that was Saturday, and then for today, I'm showing you, this is a PrimitiveBettys, and she still has a ton of stuff up on her, is it a blog? Is it a blog or a website? I can't remember, but anyway, it's a blog because I'm thinking about how you scroll down. So you scroll down on the left side, and there's a little, she calls it a doodle. So it's one of her drawings in a box. And underneath, or above or underneath that, it says click on the doodle to get access to her other free charts. And I don't know that they're really printable anymore. They used to be. I don't think they're printable unless you figure out how to copy and paste it to your own Word program, or what does Apple call it? Anyway, you might be able to figure, but you can also just stitch from the screen as well. She's a photographer, and so all of these like pictures or photos, they're really the free charts, but they're on her Flickr account, and they're probably still there because she is a photographer and still has that account. But it's one of those things where these charts are so old that you know, I wouldn't be surprised if any day now the whole blog comes down because she's not doing it anymore. Anyway, I've done a number of, I might have shown one a year since I've been doing Freebie February. So this is Wicked, and I did it on 32 Lugana in the color Inferno, which is a silk weaver hand dyed, and I looked it up and it's still available. Although on the website it looks like a really dark orange, but they might have been using the same picture for all counts of fabric, in which case the Lugana is usually lighter and less mottled. And I did, can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I showed a love design, I think from the Stitcher Hood, on the same fabric, but a different count. We had gotten them both on a fabric automatic like 15 or 17 years ago, because it was before we moved here. So anyway, we did it on that. And the only change I made was, instead of stitching the motifs, you know, we used to kit these things. We used to kit all the free charts, and just for there to be something interesting, we added the buttons instead of stitching those motifs. We could have also added a key, but I think at the time it was hard to find keys that were that small. Now at the chain stores you can find like variety packs with keys, but if you used, you know, I don't know if you can tell how small this is, but if you used a real key, well, a real key wouldn't have fit, let's just put it that way. It's too small. But you know, I liked to add a couple little extra things to make the kit fun. So that's Wicked by PrimitiveBettys. That is all I have to say today. So, okay, I see that I have some time left, so I think I'm going to put on a 1.5 minute maybe video of the color and cotton flosses that we have in stock right now. I just took the video on the wall, and hopefully I kept my hands, you know, fairly steady. But we can't order that often. If we do, we're paying a lot of shipping for practically no floss. So I wait until they announce that they have a number of floss packs available, and it's usually right after a designer or 2 or 3 have some new charts come out. So in this case, it was right after Primrose Cottage Stitches came out with their Valentine line. And then I believe there were also some packs for Kathy from Hands On Design. I don't have them packaged. I just put them all on the wall because I know that sometimes people change colors or don't use all of them in the same piece. So I didn't want to force people to buy a set. So they're just all loose skeins, you know, on the wall. So I'll put that at the end. And I guess that's it. If this goes up on Saturday night, it's because I got lucky. Sunday the 23rd is my dad's 95th birthday, and we are going to Das Schnitzel House, because that's the kind of food he likes, and we've been there a couple times, and it's delicious and kind of festive, and you can get sort of a private little dining room where it's a little quieter for him, and you know, with his hearing aids. So we're going there early, well, kind of late afternoon, but I didn't want to worry about whether my video had loaded. So if this loads on Saturday night, I got lucky. Okay, we will see you next week with the rest of Freebie February and some more new shop models. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.